Hello and welcome to the Boots Blog. I'm author of Finding Your Bootstraps, Diane Bogino, and our guest today is Martha Lanier, owner of Ignite Your Potential. She's a skydiver, a parent, an author, a patriot, and a survivor. Martha believes we are each capable of achieving far more than we think possible when we stretch our comfort zones and believe in ourselves. Martha is no stranger to facing her own fears and overcoming self-limiting barriers. Once petrified, she overcame her fear of speaking in front of groups, jumped out of, as she says, a perfectly good airplane, and most recently became a breast cancer survivor. Martha is a motivational speaker, and content for her speaking programs is based in part on her skydiving adventure, past personal and professional experiences, and how she climbed the corporate ladder from administrative assistant to executive assistant to office manager to HR and VP of relocation services, and now a small business owner. Martha, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's hard to imagine what you first felt when you learned that you had breast cancer. I'd like to know, and I'm sure our viewers would like to know, did you have a history of it? How did you find it? What did you do? What happened? Tell us about that experience.
I had no family history of breast cancer. I'm the first one in my family to be diagnosed with it. And Diane, it's amazing. I had had my annual exam with my internist, and it was a week later, I was rubbing lotion across my chest and found a bulge high on my chest wall. Went back, my doctor said, we're going to get a mammogram and an ultrasound. Now, when normally I would see my GYN about a month later, and so that's why my internist didn't require the mammogram, but I'm so glad she did. Did not show on mammogram, even though the radiologist could feel it. We all knew where the lump was. It was about the size of a marshmallow and soft. And I had always heard that lumps are hard. Well, mine was different. It did show up on the ultrasound, thank goodness, and had an excisional biopsy. They wanted to do a core needle biopsy, which is done often. I just said, take it out. I'm tired of dealing with it, and you'd feel it all day long. I would check on it, see if it got bigger, went away, or what, and it would go away when I would lie down. And most of the time, women are examined by a doctor when they are lying flat on their back. So, but what happened is my cancer was a 0.7 centimeter, which is about half the size of a Tic Tac, and it was inside the fatty tissue. So that's rare that it happens, but I'm so glad that it was detected and could find it. And you know what? Different women react different ways when they're diagnosed, and I say as women, it's okay to react whatever is natural for you. Don't compare yourself to other people. I'm the type of person that went straight into, I denied it until I guess the day I had the biopsy, the excisional biopsy, and that next morning I woke up and thought, what am I going to do today? And I can move my arm pretty good because they had just made a small incision, and I thought, what if it is cancer? I better get my act together. So I spent about 2.5 days on the internet on reliable sites like the American Cancer Society, Susan G. Komen. I did my homework because I wanted to be in charge. I wanted to know what my options were. So by the time I was diagnosed, I pretty much had my game plan. I was ready. But that was my attitude and how I chose to deal with it.
Wow, that's amazing. You did all that before you even knew what it was.
I believe in being prepared,
Boy,
not to be blindsided.
I'm telling you, you go, girl. And you did write a book.
But I read 2 books before my surgery and really my diagnosis, and they were really heavy, and to me they were sad. And I thought, I'm not doing this sad thing. I'm not. I'm going to stay positive. Learned firsthand that I thought, man, if I can share this with other women, and not just other women, but the book is great for someone who has just been diagnosed and doesn't know which direction to turn in. It's also great for family members or friends to know what a woman goes through.
And how best to support her.
And how best to support her. And then my surgeon wrote that he read the manuscript initially, and he said, oh my word, anyone in the medical profession who comes in contact with a breast cancer survivor needs to read this book, because I brought up things that he never thought were even things would be considered.
You talk about your positive attitude. You actually made a list.
Oh, I did.
And put it where you could see it
whenever I would get what I call the mully grubs, I would start that, ooh, this is not what I had planned. I think, okay, what's the list? And one of the biggest things is I have met some of the most incredible, strong women who are breast cancer survivors that I never would have had an opportunity to meet.
Your book is about your experiences, and also I want you to tell us a little bit about competing in the triathlon.
Oh, the Iron Girl.
Yes.
I'm an Iron Girl triathlete. I love saying that.
Well,
Not an Iron Woman, I'm an Iron Girl triathlete.
You should be proud of that. That was quite an ordeal.
It was. Little did I realize that accepting the challenge really changed, again, my way of thinking and letting me know that I really can do more than I ever dreamed I could do. It was incredible. Iron Girl, a triathlon is 3 events. So Iron Girl is a 500-meter swim, which is about 24 lengths of a 25-meter pool in Lake Lanier. Yeah, you're in a lake. And then an 18-mile bike ride, which in North Georgia, you know is not flat.
Right.
I had to get off twice. You know, when I'm going up a hill and I'm zigzagging, I was like, I can walk faster than I'm riding now. So I got off 2 times. It was so hard. Came back, and then you finish with a 3-mile run. So I learned I could do something I never dreamed I would do, because I was not an athlete.
Under your cap, you put "I can." So when you thought you couldn't make it anymore, you looked at that little message.
I did.
And that got
I
you through
did.
it. And then tell us about Marge.
I found out about a first-timers triathlon that was 3 weeks before the Iron Girl. They're much shorter distances, and it's not a sanctioned event, but a great event for someone their first time. And I'm on the beach, and of course you go by age group, and all of a sudden there are only a few of us left on the beach in this senior group, and one was this dear little lady next to me, and I had a double take, and I thought, she has a bathing suit on. She's so much older than me, but she must be going to compete in this. And the gun went off, and man, I forgot about her, and I hit the water, and it was all I could do to get to the finish side. Went up the hill, got on my bike, and I'm just, I don't have the speedy bike. I have the high handlebars and look like the Wicked Witch of the West. You know, all I needed was a basket for Toto. And whoosh, this person flies by me, and I thought, what was that? Because I knew I was one of the last people. And all of a sudden, we made a left-hand turn, and I looked. It was Marge, the woman I saw on the beach. Well, then, after the bike ride, we came back, and I am all but crawling up the first hill of the run that I'm walking, and I'm thinking, oh, only 3 more miles. And all of a sudden, coming up the other side of the hill, we meet at the top. It's Marge, and she's running. Well, then a couple of minutes later, I heard the crowd go wild, and I talked to Marge afterwards. Do you know Marge is 76 years old?
Oh, my
She's
goodness.
my new hero. Absolutely incredible woman. She finished 15 minutes before I did, and she's 15 years older. So then when I started training for the Iron Girl, I ripped off that I can, and I printed Marge really big, and I put it in the bill of my cap. And whenever my training got really, really hard, and I thought, oh, I can't do it, I think, Marge can do it. I can do it. I put her name on my handlebars on my bike.
And that goes to say, Martha, that none of us really know when we're being an inspiration to somebody else, and
No.
we can all be an inspiration to someone.
I say other people influence us, but man, we're a big influence and we don't even know it, which means we can either be a positive or a negative influence. So I think it's so important to think about what we do and the people who may be watching and can learn from us. That very definitely.
Yeah, right. Please pick up a copy of Pink Lemonade by Martha Lanier. I know that you will be inspired by Martha's ordeals that she has been through and overcome. And we can all do it with just a little inspiration. Thank you so much for joining us today on Boots Blog. I look forward to seeing you next time. This is Diane Bogino.